Cowboy Nation, Cowboy Nation. What's going on, Cowboy Nation? Didn't have no intro this time. Didn't want to do an intro this time. I wanted to make sure that anybody out there they can hear me, they'll let me know. Um, is my volume up? Is my volume good? If you click in with me, let me know if my volume is okay, that you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Let's make sure we get somebody into the room and somebody can let me know if you can hear me. Should be able to hear me real well. Seems like everything is going good here, but it should be live now. Um, Trying to get up to the before we get going. How you doing, Cowboy Nation? Just came in to speak to you for a couple of minutes. Been a little bit under the weather since the preseason game. Uh, One thing you did is get a summer cold, so I may sound a little under the weather today. Been a little under the weather ever since that game went off. I was feeling kind of bad when the game went off, and all day Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, um, uh, and today was been kind of rough sledding for me, um, physically. Man, those summer colds are really hard ones, and I never got a chance to get with you for y'all to give my true prospects of a view of what I saw in the Baltimore Ravens game. Again, not panicking. Same thing I said on the live stream when we was on a watch party that I said last week. And I've been trying to caution everybody in the last since for a while. I've been trying to caution everyone to let everybody know that this is a work in progress. Um, Not to panic and thinking this is a rebuild project, but to change culture, to change mindset, to start something a new way. It takes time. Um, I've been hearing some things that kind of lead me into what I thought I was seeing. Things about how physical the practices are being. Um, so we may be dealing with a team that's just tired. When you're dealing with a team, you're trying to change the culture. Just the guys have been here for a while. They're doing something a little bit different than what they've been doing. So they got to get used to this. So they'll adapt, but I think we're moving slow into the process of getting stuff in. I would love to see our starters play, but if people been knowing me and knowing the for all the shows I've been on, y'all probably been seeing that Coach Marv has been a component of these guys playing in the preseason for many years. Where when I said those things before, people it went on deaf ears. A lot of people didn't jump on board with that because they were talking about we getting people hurt. Now with a new coach and talking about something, now we're talking about doing that. Um, I really think the reason why we're talking about doing that as Cowboy Nation is not because last year we wasn't talking so much because we were playing Cleveland the first game of the season. We're talking about it now as a nation now about us getting out there because as a nation, that's going to be one of my next shows. Now I'm not going to get into that, but we can't invest so much into this football game. We can't this game, the first game of this season against the Philadelphia Eagle is not the season. We can't invest if we're going to follow the Cowboys or we're going to be with the Cowboys all on this coming September the 4th game. Yes, it's a big game. Yes, we want to be prepared. Yes, it's coming out the box. Yes, it's a divisional game. Yes, all of those things. But it's going to take time for your team to build their chemistry. They're not going to be totally all together right off the bat. So patience and stick to itness is going to be key. So that leads me into when I say it, and I'm gonna do a show about we can't invest everything in one game because you can't win the season all on one game with mindset, but you can put yourself in a bad mindset if you got too much invested into this first game. And we'll talk about that in my next one of my shows that I'll be coming up before this first game comes up about what we got to invest into this first game. But if you see my title is about this Netflix documentary. And first of all, I want to say that we have a lot of Cowboy fans. I've heard some Cowboy fans say that they want to uh, uh, want to let me address that because D Block is in here, man, and I always want to address what you say, man, because I appreciate you being in here, brother. Yes, teams are going to be ready, but D Block, you got to understand this: with the NFL with 3 preseason games, teams don't really know who they are till after they get the first 4 to 5 games. First 4 to 5 games. Now, I understand people. That's and I want to say, I'm trying to say this in a way, D Block, that doesn't offend Cowboy fans. But when teams in like Green Bay and all these teams say we front runners, that's what they're talking about. If we lose this game, we'll be done with the Cowboys. We'll be trying to change everything. We'll be done. If we lose a game or we don't win a game by or a weak team, or we consider a weak team, we don't blow them out, or we don't put a 40 burger, or we don't score in the second half, or we get down and out. But the end game is to get to 6. And when you got a fresh coach, there's going to take 4 to 5 games for them to get their rhythm. You know, listen, coming out of this first 5 games, week 3 and 2, I'm all right. I'm all right. Because I know the season is built on the last 12 games. That's what the season is built. Because that's when you're going to, the reason I say last 12 games is because that's when you're going to have teams that are going to have injuries. There's going to be how people going to adjust to the injuries. There's going to be some bumps and bruises right before you get to the first bye week. The jockeying positions that, yes, there's some races, horse races that run from the start, but most of them won by the first quarter. So it's about jockeying positions and getting ourselves. Yes, we want to come out these first 5 games at a good record, but if we come out the first 5 games 1 game behind, 2 games behind, that's nothing. 2 years ago, we came out we was 2.5 games behind. We came back, won the division. Yeah. So you just want to be progressing. You want to have some, and I'll point out when I do this show about the things that you want to see. There are certain things you want to establish, and then there's certain things that you going is getting used to how we're going to play games and finding our rhythm and what we are, because every year is different. Every year there's a different tempo to your team. Some of the stuff stays the same, but there's a different tempo, and coaches have to find that. And it's going to be a little bit more for us to find, because this is going to probably be our first time that we get our starters in sync, in live bullets, in live action. So And whoever we play, this will be the first time all our starters on both teams got to play a full game. So there's a lot that uncover in the first 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks of a season. It's important because they play the games, but it's important about establishing who you are. And once you get past those 4 to 5 games, then you start to see who's who and where you're at. But getting back to, and it's crazy that I start talking about that because in my topic about this Netflix special, and I was saying again, as I was saying before, I went on and answered that question of when D Block was talking about, other teams are going to be ready. There were some Cowboy fans that have said that they were going to boycott. They were going to boycott this Netflix special. There were some Cowboy fans that said that they're not going to watch it because they don't want to live the past and it's all about I was there in the past and I don't want to live it. We always talk about the past and this, but it reminds me of how society is right now today. Society, anytime we start talking with people with, even some of the stuff I get, sometimes people shoot me down for being old school. Anytime you start talking about old school stuff, this new culture starts to say, "Nah, I don't want to hear about that. That's the old way, this and that. Don't know we talk about that." But the more times people say things change, the more things stay the same. And history is probably one of the biggest components to forming your success in the future. If you're not careful, you can repeat bad history. If you're not careful, you can have stuff that works well that you really don't find. Sometimes you can miss a lot when the history. Think about it. When you do something, let's say you do a program or you fix something or you do something, anything you do, and you say, "Okay, I did it before, and I know how to do it." Know what you're relying on? History. History of whatever you was doing, you relying on that to say, "Okay, I had history of doing this, and now I know." So that's how important the history is. And in my statement, I talked about the history of when we were talking about this Netflix special. I said, well, sometimes history can be a great teacher, or it can be a hidden problem that repeats. And you know something, like this person here put in the chat here. Let's talk about the history of the cornerback history. See, there's some history there that it could be the great teacher of how to handle the situation, or it could be a hidden problem because we never fixed what we did history-wise the first time. And when I always said something about the Joneses. Jared them tell you the truth in statements, but I think some of us don't hear it because they don't hop on it, but they slide you some truths in there, some real hardcore truths. But they know when they do this in this soap opera type atmosphere of always keeping stuff going, that most times we miss the message because we're looking for the excitement. I remember Jerry said something the other day, last year, that told you why Mike McCarthy was on a lame duck contract and why they had all their coaches that was on 1-year contracts, even the one that was still there, they told you. Jerry told you in the interview. He talked about, he talked about the dead money for coaches and GMs across the NFL. He said in the NFL, it's something like $500 million that was owed to coaches and to coaches from in the NFL that have been fired before their contract ended, and the teams are still paying them, and GMs that were fired that they had to pay. Something like 100,000, 400. It was a lot of money, and he thought that was crazy because when you fire a coach before his contract, unless it's some way crazy stuff, but most times you got to pay them out. So if you fire a coach, let me understand this. If you fire a head coach, most times it's assistant coaches. Most assistant coaches, and y'all can check this out. Most assistant coaches do not sign a contract unless it's 3 years. That's in pros or college, with 2 years guaranteed, and the other one is optional. And when they get to their last year, they want to be re-upped for 2 years. Why? Assistant coaches travel, man. They move around. You got to have some job security, at least a 1 year salary. You don't want to be in a job where you're on 1 year contract and you get fired and then you got to go out and find another job. You don't want to coach under guys that's on 1 year deals. If you start getting coaches to do that, there's something that's going on that they really can't find an opportunity right now, or they just saying, hey, I'm just trying to get something right now. So Jared told you that he didn't believe in paying coaches dead money. He didn't believe in paying people that was gone from his team and he's still paying them. Think about it. He's only fired maybe 2 coaches, but one coach while he still had contract money. You know what coach that was? Wade Phillips. Everybody else was at the end of their deals when he fired them. So he didn't actually fire them. He just didn't re-up their deals. Jason Garrett was at the end of his deal. And Mike McCarthy was at the end of his deal. Even Bill Parcells was at the end of his deal when Bill Parcells said he wanted to leave. That he just ain't having no more. So, also, if he would have let Mike McCarthy go and you bring in another coach, you're not going to bring a coach in and say, here's your staff. You want them to have some staff, so they would have let people go, and those coaches that were still here on the contract, he would have had to pay them. And he don't believe in it. So when he tell you something, you don't believe it. And in this documentary, when people talk about there is some stuff in this documentary that's important. And the reason why I'm going to say it's important. And please, people who are Cowboy fans, do not take this as I'm shooting you down or saying something bad, but this is, think about it in truth. If you, and I'm an old school fan, been Cowboy fan for a long time. Matter of fact, I was a Cowboy fan when probably ever since I really knew about football after they won their first Super Bowl or second Super Bowl, right? But I've been around since their first Super Bowl. And I've been knowing football because my dad knew football well. So I was taught the football well before just knowing to be a student of the game. But if you're not a fan since the last time the Cowboys, if you just became a Cowboy fan in the last 30 years, I think it's a must that you watch this documentary. Because if you don't, you're going to get fooled about what it really takes to win. See, this documentary takes you back when it wasn't about glitz and glamour all the time. It was about WORK, work and grind. Now, not saying the Cowboys were never the front page story, but they were grinders. Yes, when they talk, and yeah, Jerry put some, about how I was broke and I invested all that in. Well, yeah, that's fine. But in the midst of all that, he's telling you that they were a losing franchise, not only on the field, but financially. So it couldn't be about the glitz and glamour. It had to be about work. And if you watch this documentary, when I talk about history, listen to what the players talked about when they first started this run, about how Jimmy Johnson was as a coach. He was an asshole. And he had nothing to deal with but about work. Now, did they like it? Did it all pan out right at the beginning? Did they step out on the field and start running over people right off the bat? Did they build their team with free agency? No. See, we want to build a team with free agents right now because a lot of our fan base keep talking about, oh, man, from the 70s, the same way they were built from free agents of draft to the 90s. Now, I know people say, well, the things are different from the 90s to now. Well, weren't they different between the 70s and the 90s? But the exact same thing worked. That worked in the 70s, worked in the 90s. I'm just saying. And when they got there, they built with a young team. Look at our team now. We're young. Does being young mean you can't win? But you got to be strong-willed. But in the midst of that, Jerry tells you some cold-hard truths. Jimmy tells you some cold-hearted truth. And they get through all that with work and how they grinded. Did they blow everybody out? They were one of the best teams, probably one of the best dynasties, one of the dynasties, I ain't gonna say the best, one of them in football for that 4 or 5 year span. Did they blow everybody out? No. Did they win some close games? Yes. If you was in the midst of that, did Detroit may throw interceptions? Yes. One season, I think their first playoff run season, in mid-season, Troy had the same amount of interceptions he had touchdowns. Did they change players out? Yes. Did they have injuries? Yes. Did they convert some players into different positions? Yes. Did Nate Newton come to the Dallas Cowboys as a starter? No. He had been cut by the Washington Redskins, and he had went 3 or 4 years before he even got a starting position. Now, the documentary tells you about that, but the Great Wall tells you about that. Mark Tournay was a defensive player. And Hudson Hawk turned him into one of the best left tackles in football. Left tackle. Eric Williams, my frat brother, Blue Five, came out of Central State as a 3rd-round draft pick. Was he a top pick in the what name? Central State. They took guys that were later round draft picks, some that was undrafted free agents, put them together with some great players, and built a team to perform. Yeah. But if you have been a fan since, and we had even, if you're a fan in the last 30 years, you became a Cowboy fan in the last 30 years. And I'm not dissing Cowboy fans, but think about it. What grind have you seen to make you a Cowboy fan to say, I seen us grind to have success? Are we talking about the successful years with Tony Romo, the 1 year going to Green Bay? Are we talking about the successful years with Dak Prescott, the 1 year that they won? Are these the successful years we talk about? Or we talk about with Bill Parcells had Quincy Carter, and I think they won the division, but it was okay, but nothing dominant. Or when Wade Phillips took over the team, they were 13-3 for that 1 year. This is the grind we talking about that we are seeing. If you've been a fan for the last 30 years, do you really understand what it takes when we were dominant year in and year out, not only in the 90s, but in the 70s, where we done built a playoff record that's still third. We still got the third most wins in playoffs right now today, and we ain't won that many playoff games in the last 30 years. And we have been around since 1960, when some of the teams were around 10, 15 years before us. If you learn your history, you'll understand, and you could be able to correct, or when you'll know what to say or how to say, hey, man, that ain't how we done it before. Why are we changing the map? And most of our fans have been fans for 30 years. Now, why did they become fans for 30 years? Think about it. All the fans that have come in to be a Cowboy fan in the last 30 years, that is ingenious by Jerry Jones. Now, y'all might not like what I just said, but it's the truth. He has been able to promote a fan base that's probably larger than anybody else in the last 30 years without winning nothing. How do you do that? Or what type of fans are you attracting? You're attracting fans that's not going to hold you accountable to the substance of what really makes a football team, or you getting a fan base that's only going to be tied into the reason why they became Cowboy fans is because of the glitz and glamour, but not the substance of what football is really about. And then the documentary goes into what happened. I'm glad that they let Jimmy and Jerry really give their own account. And sometimes, it was really, they were going at each other when they gave their own account. But this one really came about. If you have to watch it, and you have to watch it when Jimmy said that, and this is a key to where things went wrong. Jimmy said, I was not coaching because of for clicks and media. I was coaching to win. And it was okay in the first when we was grinding to get there. But once they won that first Super Bowl, then Jerry turned his focus, because after they won the first Super Bowl, he paid off his debts he paid the debts off of what he mortgaged to pay for the Cowboys. And then now they started being in the black. And then it got to be that we're trying to make other money. And then it came to the Emmitt Smith thing. And that's why I try to tell people when we look at this situation and we say this stuff is going on with Michael Parsons. Oh man, why is he doing this? Listen, what did I tell you? In my statement of this show right here, I says history can be a great teacher or it could be a hidden problem that repeats. And this is a hidden problem that repeats. You had a team that was 12-5, 12-5. Then your quarterback got hurt, lame duck coach, all that. You should have done lame duck coach. Lame duck coaches don't win. And you took a team to 12-5. You made your receiver beg for his contract. You held him out. You made the quarterback go all the way to the last thing before you signed his contract. And forget how much the money costs, because the money is not the point. Because when you're dealing with your base and your financial core players, you're not going to save no money with core players. Let me tell you something. A player's going to sign, it may be very little less, but you're not going to sign no player way under the market value of a core player, and then 2 weeks later, somebody going to be getting $10 million more than him. The agent already know where the middle ground is. You can sign him early, but it's going to be still that middle ground. But your core players, you don't haggle about that. You make them feel comfortable. You coach them hard, but you make them feel comfortable. Here I get to say about history. They made their players, when they signed Troy Aikman, when he first draft pick, they paid him high. That when you ain't had no scale. They paid Michael Irvin when he got his rookie contract, his second contract. Everybody, their core was done. But Jimmy coached them hard. They trusted Jimmy on the second level of guys that I don't have to worry about, because Jimmy was always going to replace those guys because he was going to keep finding talent and he was going to keep coaching people up. So your second tier, you ain't had to worry about that. But Jerry tells you in this documentary one of the biggest problems of Jerry Jones, and it's a problem of the football team. Because if you've been following me on the live show with Boss Cowboy, we talked about this, and I've talked about this in my previous shows about mental toughness and about one of the biggest problems of the Cowboys. And when I started talking about mental toughness, I said the Cowboys got a problem because we can't handle success. Because think about it. As soon as we start winning some games, we start feeling the big head, and we'll go out and lay an egg. We laid an egg against Green Bay because we were feeling ourselves too much. We didn't come in regular as a football team. And then guess what? I was lived in the area when the Cowboys went, but I learned something. I learned something last night when I was watching it. When Jerry decided to fire Jimmy, there's one person that knows you like a book. And they can tell you your real interpersonal problem that probably can hurt you in so many ways. And like I told you, Jared tells you the truth if y'all listen sometime on certain things. He said he went home after they fired Jimmy and he got into bed with his wife. One that's been in there for all this years. She knows it. And she says, you got to mess it up, don't you? You can't see stuff go well without messing it up. And guess what that told me and viewed me about Jerry Jones? And he said to himself, he got a tendency to not be disciplined when things are going well. And he got a tendency to fuck it up. And it was going too good for him. 2 back-to-back Super Bowls. After the first Super Bowl, we won the Super Bowl. We climbed the mountain. I finally got over the people talking about not Tom Landry and all that stuff. I finally got over the top. We finally got there, won a Super Bowl. And we doing good. We just continue to keep this ride going on. And then he make Emmett hold out. He don't sign Emmett. Here's that same demon. This is the same demon he always had. When things going good, Jerry has a tendency to fuck it up. He'll do something that's over the top. He'll push the envelope too far. Because he has no discipline when it comes to staying the course, because then his ego, everything gets in the way and he messes it up. Think about this, Cowboys fans. Every time that we got something going good, every time that we got some success going good, every time we got something going good, we're starting to feel good. We starting to build momentum. And Jerry starts to feel good. He gets to talking, and then he fucks it up. And his wife said that in that room. And that was one of the most serious moments of the whole documentary. Because she told him, every time it's going good, you got 2 Super Bowls, and you fired the guy that won 2 Super Bowls. Every time, Jerry, you can't stand success. You can't stand the spotlight. It's that old adage when people say you're doing too much. And you messed it up. Then Jerry, and before that, Jerry revealed something else to us. That might be a cause of him messing it up all the time. See, you got to watch the documentary. See, he going to tell you some things in that documentary that we going to glass over because we ain't going to listen to him. He's going to be pointed and he going to tell you, and he going to stop when he tell you these things. Now, he's not going to keep on hopping on it. But when he told you when he was bought the Cowboys and he said he was broken, he was going through that frustration of them working and Jerry working, Jimmy working, and him out there trying to get the business straight. He said he used to drink a lot. Yeah, he said that last night. He said I used to drink a lot, and that was a problem. And I used to drink, and now you get no rest. And when he got mad at Jimmy that night, he was drunk that night. Drunk, ego, and can't handle success is a recipe of history that is hidden that will repeat itself over and over and over again if you do not learn from it and let history be a teacher. If you don't let history be a teacher and you hide it, it'll repeat itself over and over and over and over again. And this history of fucking things up and not being able to handle success and just doing too much when things going good, you're not disciplined. He said himself, he has a tendency when things are going good to not be disciplined enough. But he's disciplined when things are bad. And guess why? We went 12-5. 12-5. We on the cusp. After you went the first 12-5, you on the cusp. If you felt that coach was not pushing them enough, you had a chance right there to pull the trigger. You had a chance to pull the trigger with Dan Quinn. You had the chance to pull the trigger with Sean Diamond 2 years before that. If you felt the coach was not pushing them enough, because you didn't believe in the coach, because you would have let him coach there at 12-5 if you believe he could do it. The only reason you did that is because you would have gave him a stitching. But the only reason you did that because you just ain't want to pay lame duck coaches. Same thing I'm saying. You had a premise, you had a point where your team is on the cusp. You get overhyped by winning 12 games in a row 3 years, because that's what he kept talking about. We done won 3 games in 12 games in 3 years. See, you get too all into it that you don't be disciplined enough to finish the deal and get somebody in here and sacrifice that coach's salary money, get somebody in here to get you over the top. And then it had to be free agents. It could have been a free agent, but it could have been just a move. But you didn't do that. Because you said it yourself, Jerry. When things are going really well, you're not as disciplined as you need to be to finish the deal. And guess what? In football, people, I used to coach football. And that's the exact same thing you tell your players. Do not rest on your laurels. You only good as the next play. Nobody gives a damn about what you did do. You got to establish yourself every game. Your last film is your best, is your most important film. Be proud of yourself after the next whistle blow. The next. And do not play this game like the day is your birthday. Because ain't nobody giving you no gifts. That's what I was taught when I was a player. That's what I drilled every day. That you can't impress me today, that you can't impress me the next day. Because the next day I'm looking for you to do better. The level always goes up. And if you can't handle success and you get undisciplined after you don't want to get a battle or two, and then you get blowed up. The same discipline you used to get the way you was going, it's the same discipline you got to even buckle down even harder to get to the top of the mountain. And Jerry already told you, the greatest a businessman he is, whatever he want to do at GM or whatever, when things are going good and things he moving, he told you himself last night. Watch the dog. He told you twice. He told you, and his wife told you. And if his wife says something about her husband, you best believe that's the way he is in business. That's the way he is with the family. That's the way he is with the in-laws. That's the way he is with his friends. That's the way he is every damn point of his life. When things are going good, he got a tendency to fuck it up. And he said that 2 years ago when he was talking about Jimmy Johnson, sitting there almost crying. And he said, I fucked up. Because he understands that he left Super Bowls on the board. And I think Jimmy said that because Jimmy fucked it up too. Because Jimmy got that same, the reason why I'm saying this is because Jimmy and Jerry got that same criteria in them. Oh boy, now y'all get some people get mad. because I love Jimmy. But Jimmy got that same thing as Jerry. That's why they could do so well, but that's why they couldn't last together. Because both of them got the same gene. When things are going so well, they got a tendency to fuck it up. Jimmy was with his wife. I guarantee you, ask all the women he been dating, well, they'll tell you that Jimmy is going well. Jimmy said himself, he don't stay in place no more than 4 to 5 years, and then he gone because he get bored and he'll mess it up. The honeymoon is good, 5 years, and then that's it. Most great coaches, a lot of great coaches are like that. Let me give you another great coaches who gonna win. Harbaugh in the Chargers, he gonna win. They gonna. I predict they'll be in the Super Bowl within the next year or two. Not because they're quarterback, because he gonna take the pressure off the quarterback. Just because a Harbaugh is a winner. Because people forget, he went to Super Bowl and 3 NFC Championship games with Seattle with the 49ers. Yeah. But guess what about Harbaugh? He stayed in Michigan longer than 10 years, but still yet, it was a struggle the last 5 years. But a guy like him, intense guy, an asshole, that's really just all about winning and got to quirk, yeah, he good in the organization for 5 years. And he ain't going to mess it up, but we can say he can mess it up. He'll mess it up because his attitude overbearing. And he wears welcome out. But he'll win for you. But you ready to get his butt out the room. And Jerry and Jimmy got them same criteria. Now, Jimmy might not be, but Jimmy what? 5 years in Miami. 5 years at the Cowboys. I think he gave you about 3-4 years at Miami. He said that, man. He don't. And then add drinking on that flaw in your personality of not being able to handle success. Now, y'all may not hear that, but listen, think about it. Every time we got something going good, he does something that's maybe an attention grabber to himself. Something to try to steal the spotlight. Something that he doesn't be this because he thinking he thinking this. He talked about it in the Super Bowl when he talked about when they was almost lost a championship game or the Super Bowl, and he was like, man, he felt like here it is when you think we just got something locked down. This football game show you that it's nothing guaranteed. See, that's the way he was thinking already. He was already thinking, man, every time we go, it's guaranteed. That's why his teams act the way they act. Because once they start winning, he start opening the floodgates. We start talking about everything that you're supposed to be talking about as a team that's trying to keep it going. We start talking about all kind of stuff. But Jerry told you. This is what I said about history. Let me recap what I said about history. The title of this says, history it can be a great teacher, or it can be a hidden problem that repeats. And Jimmy and Jerry told you in this documentary, he paused and told you that when things are going good in his life, when things are going good, he has a tendency to not be as disciplined as he should be. And when he fired, the echo that even more, when he let Jimmy Johnson go, his wife. See, he said that because he's telling you that this came from a source that knows him like a book. And when they tell you something lying in the bed, when you have that pillow talk with your wife lying in the bed, you best believe what comes out their mouth is the damn truth. Either way, when you say something to her, listen, they know. And she said, you just can't stand when things are going good. You got to mess it up. You just can't stand when stuff is going right. And he said he couldn't say a word. And that history is not just in football. You could best believe that's how he handled his family. That's how he handled his friends. That's how he handled his business deals. He got a tendency when things are going good to get sloppy and started trying to take attention, started to try to do too much, trying to do this crazy stuff. And it always messes it up. As soon as we start winning, we're a playoff team. He started talking all this crazy playoff talk and started giving this, and every question he answers about playoffs and all this, and they talk about this. They start talking past the grind. As soon as you say we got a good football team, they go to the point where we get a guy get hurt. Then the next thing you know, we going in a positive direction. We building off stuff. Then he'll probably give an ultimatum about, nah, let's not do so and so. We gonna try to get, see, overconfidence. And then he told you that he was drinking, and he said that was the problem. And all the big events that happened when he fired Jimmy and all those, I guarantee you, like Charles Hill said, he could drink. And I guarantee you, every last one of those big problems, he was drunk. Because when you're drunk, whatever problem you guys are going to reveal itself even more. There's been millionaires that lost fortunes because they took their drunk self and said something or did something the wrong way and lost millions of dollars. And if you got that tendency to say, I'm not as disciplined as I need to be when things are going good, that tells you you can't handle success. And if you got a football team that plays that way, they're never going to win big games. They may win one big game, but they're not going to have the sustained power to win the games and get to a Super Bowl because they're going to get overbearing, going to start smelling themselves and fuck it up. I tell you, Cowboy fans, if you have been a fan for the last 30 years, and I know I probably lost a lot of people, it's a must that you watch this documentary. And if you've been a Cowboy fan, fast that. It's a must that you find out, listen to this, because there is some hidden gems in this documentary that you can take and you can understand where we're going wrong at. And you'll be able to see that there is a resemblance of the building blocks that Jerry did that goes along with what Jimmy did, him and Jimmy did. But as soon as it started getting traction, the same history piece that I said is hidden, the hidden problem, it repeats itself. The same arrogance that I said the star stands for. And watching this Netflix special proved to me my acronym for the star of front office when they start tripping. They don't be tripping all the time, but when they start tripping, when things are going good, they start this tripping. And knowing that tripping star, what I said the star stand for, Stubborn, tumultuous, arrogant reactions. And that's what people do when they can't handle success and they fuck things up. Man, share this video, man. You ain't gonna hear too many people say, but this is the truth, man. Now, there's a lot of other problems comes in, but 3 things that you need to take for this, and what I have to tell you all these Cowboy fans. Know your history. Let me give you another tidbit of history. Cowboys have never paid their players. They have always made their players overwork to try to get paid. In the 70s, Tex Graham did were hard on players, man. They'll tell you that, man. Cowboys players was, they got the most glamour and glitz. The glamour and glitz was back then. They had TV shows or whatever shows they were. They was the party of the world then. But if history, let me tell you something. I'm gonna say it again. That's why I say know your history of your organization. Because history can either be a great teacher or it could be a hidden problem that repeats itself over and over and over again, man. And history is very important. I'm recapping. I gave you an analogy. When you do something, you say, oh, I know I do that. What you relying on? History. So how many times in your life you rely on history? Man, you always say, man, I did that before. I can do it again. I did that before. But that's history. Either history, I'm going to say it again. History can be a great teacher or it can be a hidden problem that repeats itself over and over and over again, man. And Jerry revealed his hidden problem to the whole entire world yesterday, and his wife co-signed. The one that know him better than everybody else. She said, you just can't stand when things are going good. And he had said that before that. She had said that. He said that, I got a tendency when things are going good to get beside myself and not be disciplined like I should. And then he told you back in 2 years ago, we were talking about Jimmy. He said, I fucked it up. And he told you what Barry said. Barry told you when he went he said, man, y'all about to fuck this up. Barry told him that. I got one more thing to say. About Barry Switzer. I've heard, listen, and I'm going to go back to what I said before. If y'all go back to my other videos, y'all going to understand. It's amazing, man. That's why I said, man, go back into my playlist. You're going to see stuff, man, that I talked about before it even comes up, man. And it's crazy when I get people talking about Barry. Listen, Barry was a great coach, a Hall of Fame coach. When Barry got to the Cowboys, he didn't want to go to a job where he had to coach. He understood the assignment when he came there was just to be the gatekeeper because this thing is already put together. Barry didn't hire no coaches. He came and had the coaching staff already because remember when I said Jerry was going to fire the rest of the coaches because he don't like paying coaches without them working. And that's where it was. But remember when I told y'all about coaches? And I said, listen, they liked and they loved Barry, most of them. There were some that didn't. The ones that were going, there were some that wasn't going to like. They talk about Troy Aikman, but Moose Johnson ain't like him either. But like and love, people think people run through the wall because of like and love. I'm telling you, man, like and love will take you to a certain point, but it'll be taken for granted more than anything else. If they liked and loved a Bear so much, he wouldn't have had no problem them going all the way out and spending all and not being practice and not being ready for practice. He wouldn't have had some of the problems he had if they loved, if like and love was the most important factor. See, they talked about they liked and love, and then they'd throw that word respect. The respect factor came because they said he respected them. And he respected them, they liked and loved him. Oh, yeah. A guy that's going to allow you to do what you want to do, you like and love him. But the key to get a guy to this most, your team to their ultimate point and get a player to his ultimate point, the first thing you need to establish and the like and love should come after. You done got everything you can get out of it. And he understands where you're coming from. And I talked about these two words. That's respect and trust. See, Barry couldn't trust these guys to do what they're supposed to do day in and day out because they showed him. They go out and party doing this. They showed him that. And in some instances, they didn't do it on the field. That's why their play fell off. But respect and trust is more important than love and like. And one thing Jimmy had, he had respect and trust. Because you trusted if you didn't do what the hell you're supposed to do, you trusted that wasn't going to work. And you trusted if you did what you're supposed to do, you had no problems. It was one way. And that was the one way to win. And all the ones that hated him, all the ones that say he was an asshole, they was at that ceremony when he put him in the ring on. Yes, sir. Yeah. Because see, respect and trust turns into greater love and like. Greater like them even more and love them even more because now the love is built off a foundation that will never be broken. And it's not going to be taken for granted. They can like you and love you too much, and then you can come to a point when you got to ask them to sacrifice and push this up, and they be like, man, you'll understand. Nah, coach. Yeah. And you can't get them to respond. It don't mean they hate you. So, and I say this, when some people say, man, I give him credit because it was a no-win situation. And I hear the admiration of all the players and talk about, man, we give this to Barry, we give this to this and that. But those same people, think about this, people. When they're talking about how great Barry was, right? Amp, I'm gonna recap something on the show, Amp, that I want you to hear. And if you can hang in with me for 5 minutes, I'm gonna get to it because I want you to hear the recap I got. But one thing that these people talk about how much they loved and loved and liked Barry, and everybody say how he did a good job. He got to the Super Bowl, but in the same breath they say we could have won 4 or 5 Super Bowls if we had Jimmy. They already knew we barely won that Super Bowl with Barry, and they knew that they won't get back no more. they got there on whatever stuff they had left in the tank from Jimmy. So let me recap right because my man Amp, and I tell people this when people are not watching the documentary, and I'm gonna say it again. Amp probably could agree with me. If you became a Cowboy fan, I'm going back again. Y'all might hear me again. If you became a Cowboy fan in the last 30 years, why did you become a Cowboy fan? And if you say that you're not gonna watch the documentary, you boycott, you're probably the people that most need to watch it, and the ones that have been Cowboy fans more than that, because you have to build your foundation off of a winning organization of how they did to win. The grind. You got, and I hate to say it this way, if you just came on the last 30 years, you've been brought in by the hype of Jerry Jones. You ain't been brought in by no winning. There was no long-term winning in this. The hype of Jerry Jones. But there was some sense of work. And if you watch the documentary, the first thing you're going to hear out of everybody's mouth, we partied hard, we did all this stuff, but we worked harder than everybody else because there was no nonsense when it came to work. And I said in this thing right here, if you see my topic on here, my topic says what? My topic says of this show is about the next doc. History can be a great teacher, or it can be a hidden problem that repeats itself. It can be a great teacher or a hidden problem that repeats itself. History is so important, man, because every time we do something, if you do anything, you say, I did that before, I know how to do it. Or I set that up before, I know how to do it. I did that before, I know how to do it. All those things you're dealing with history. You had history of doing it, and now what? It's a great teacher to keep you able to do it again. Or if you don't realize your history, you could be hiding the problem that keeps repeating itself over and over again. And Jerry revealed something in this documentary that me and Amp talked about. Coach, you know that I talked about this for the longest. We talked about this with Mike McCarthy. We thought it was Mike McCarthy, which was probably Mike McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy was that type of way. But we said this team could not handle success. And I think about this team in the last 30 years. Every time we're going good, we'll find some way to blow things up. We're blaming on players, but it just seems like we don't respond. And when we got things going good, we just get crazy. And as I've always told y'all can say everything y'all want about Jerry, but Jerry would tell you the truth in certain parts of him talking that's be the gospel truth. But a lot of times we don't listen to him because we get caught up in all the other crazy talk. But he said something in this documentary twice, and he paused on it, and he revealed a hidden problem that keeps repeating itself. Early on in one of the documentaries, he's talking about when they was going through, when he was trying to make money and Jim was doing his thing, he said he used to drink a lot. And he said that was a problem. He didn't get no rest. And he paused when he said that. Yeah, that was a problem, probably. And then he went on, he was talking about some other stuff, and then he said this. And I don't know if you did watch the documentary, but he said this. He said, you know, when things are going well, I got a tendency not to be as disciplined as I need to be on certain things. And he paused. And so when Jared said those things, he looking straight at it, and he paused, he telling you, he revealing something. He said, when things going well, he got a tendency, basically what he's saying, I got a tendency to fuck it up. And I used to coach people. I used to coach my players to say, you only good as your last play. Do not rest on your laurels. You better be disciplined. The next play is what you were disciplined the first play. Because eventually, if you slip up on that discipline, people going to say you just as bad as your last play. But Jerry, think about in the history of the Cowboys, all this frustration you've been going through. When things are going good, all of a sudden, some out the blue comes up and he says some outlandish stuff or something crazy to mess it up. And guess what, people? I'm going to drop the bomb on you. For all you out there are married, you know your wife knows you better than anybody else, and you know your wife just better than anybody else. Especially if you've been together for 30-some years. And you know when y'all laying in the bed, y'all doing the pillow talk, they can reveal some stuff, or you can reveal some stuff about them. It's the gospel truth, man. It ain't no time because you know them. And when Jerry, first of all, Jerry was drunk when he said he gonna fire Jimmy. They go to drinking problem again. Because drinking reveals whatever problem you got, it heightens it and brings it to the forefront. There's been people that have lost millions because they get drunk and start talking crazy. And guess what, Amp? His wife told him after he fired Jerry, he said he came home and he laid in the bed. His wife said, "You just can't stand when things are going good." His wife. See, he told you earlier that he has a tendency when things are going good not to be disciplined. And his wife told him, said, "You just can't stand when things are going good without messing it up." History can either teach you a great lesson, or it could be a hidden problem that keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. And people, that history about Jerry Jones, when things are going good, he just can't stand success, and that filters down into this whole organization, to this team. We can be dominant, and next thing you know, we lay an egg because we overconfident. Green Bay. There's no reason Green Bay should have beat us. People talking about because they ran the football. They ran for more yards against San Francisco the next week. I think for 30 more yards. But they lost. And this teaches us, people, that we learn who people are and their real flaws. We'll stop talking about stuff that has nothing to do with it and going all crazy about this. We can come to a point and say, "Jerry, it's going good. You don't need to fuck it up." See, it goes all the way back. They won a Super Bowl with Emmett. Emmett got all these accolades. Only thing you got to go ahead and say, "Let's sign Emmett to a contract and keep this thing rolling." But you almost get 3 games behind, and you sit there with that stupid look on your face because you know what you almost done? You almost done effed it up. Because when things going good, he told you he's not as disciplined as he should be. This Michael Parsons thing was going good because guess what? We had too much momentum going with Schottenheimer and this culture and all this being built and everything was going good. We was going good to this contract stuff. Because he's too confident. He talked about it in one of the Super Bowls when we got behind in Pittsburgh game. He said in one of the commentary, he said, "Man, we is in the game now. When you think you just got everything just wrapped up, then you start to feel that it can all be gone, and you sometimes you're a little bit too overconfident." He already telling you. He probably already had his team, probably already had the party already set up because when things are going good, he got a tendency to F it up. And his wife said that after he fired Jimmy Johnson. And when she pointed out that he said, she didn't say this, that. She said, you can't stand when things are going good. And he probably that same way in his family. Soon as things going good, soon as they start showing the wife love, everything is going good. The wifey here, they been really done reconciled, everything going good. Next thing she find out Jerry in the street somewhere. He got a new girlfriend. And she probably said the exact same thing then. You can't stand when things going good. You got to mess it up. Yeah. Some of y'all came in late, man. I had to repeat that stuff, man. I hope Am heard me. And Warren, I think you came in hopefully. But that was just adjusting what I was talking about in this commentary, man. We're going to talk about this with Boston. The play is going just like I thought it was going to go. We are all right. Listen, I don't look for too much. There's going to be an upcoming show that's going to come. I'm going to talk about, and it's going to talk about our thirst in this first game. The season is not riding on this first game, people. The season's not riding in the first 5 games. You don't want to be 0-5. You definitely don't want to be 1-4. But 3-2, 2-3 is not not a death sentence. In this new NFL, teams don't really realize who they really are till after 4 games. And I understand y'all talking about playoff division game. First 5 games, the division is always still up the grabs. Think about it, 2 years ago, we was down by 3 games with 6 or 7 to go, 6 to go, and we won the division. That happens, man. It's better how you play at the end of the season than what you playing at the beginning. You want to progressively get better. You don't want to show something great and do what you think is a dominant performance because the other team is trying to find themselves and you when there are certain keys that I'm going to come in when I talk about this that you got to look at that's going to give you measures of where you are. That's what we call goal testers. When you look at a game, early games, these are what we call goal testers. When the people got their minding, they got certain things. They test the stuff to come out. They test to see if it's gold or not. You got measures that you look at a football team that you test. You look at your football team, and I'm gonna come up with those, give y'all those things that we can look at and say, is this fool's goal or this real goal? If this could be a potential flaw that it can really hurt us, and with this ain't got exposed, or this is some good habits that we're building. And right now, Schottenheimer wants good habits being built. The results will come. Surrender the outcome. Fall in love with the process right now. If you want to pick that up, go buy the book, Cut Wood, Carry Water. Cut Wood, Carry Water. Surrender the outcome. Fall in love with the process. And we keep building our process, and our process becomes right. I know that's not sounding no sexy football talk. Some people can't see it, but you will see it at the end if you're patient and you understand what you're looking for. And hopefully I can help you see what you're looking for when we're looking at those type things. But again, man, if you're a Cowboy fan, you need to watch this video. You need to watch this video. You need to watch that documentary. If you're a Cowboy fan and you've been a Cowboy fan in the last 30 years, You need to watch that because you need to learn your history. You'll learn your history. You'll understand that a lot of this history is repeating itself. And then you'll be able to understand when you can start talking, when you get your criticism will be constructed in the right way, and you'll be able to pinpoint what's the real problem and not getting fooled by all this fake make-believe stuff. A lot of this comes in with Jared. I said history can be a great teacher, or it can be a problem, a hidden problem that repeats itself over and over again. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Let people know, man, they're going to get some good stuff out of this. But remember, man, Jerry, you've been doing it all your life, man. Every time something going good, June done told you that. Every time something going good, you just can't stay in success. You just can't stand saying it's good. You have to do stuff to F it up. You got to stop that because that's a hidden problem that keeps repeating itself. Learn from your history. Let it be a teacher to us. You already made a mistake already. So let's not worry about it. If Emmitt Smith, if Jerry had a problem with signing Emmitt Smith and he has won MVP in the Super Bowl, we should expect no more than what we get from Michael Parsons. As I said, man, if you want to support the channel, I need to get up to my monetization, but if you want to support the channel, here's my Cash App. You can send a Cash App, man. Anything if you will help out, man, to build this nation, build this this YouTube channel, man, so I can give me some more equipment so I can keep on pushing and be able to do that. Man, please come in on us on Friday. Friday night will be our last preseason game against the Atlanta Falcons. We'll be together, be Boss Cowboy, Amps Sports, Boss Cowboy Sports, Amp Sports, Lou Takes, Henny Moore coming in from the liquor store, and Amp Sports with his great show, man, and Boss Cowboy and Lou Takes, man, they're doing a great job. Lou and Amp and Law, they're doing a great job in the Frisco. When they got training camp at Frisco, they're giving some great commentary, some great things that's come out there from Frisco. It shows, want to say this right quick, Milton. Listen, man, trust your coaches. Schottenheimer keep putting this guy there because Boss told you today, as well as Law. Milton practiced well. What they're trying to do is say, man, it's got to be something they're seeing that making them wild to say, hey, man, we want to work with this guy to get him better, man. But there's some players that like that, man. They showing you this sparks in practice. You be like, God, and then when they get in the game and if they could get that confidence to flow over, they probably got something to build on. So listen, think about it, man. When they keep putting people out there, man, it's something that they see, man. Let's don't think the coaches are stupid, man. They seeing the same stuff in practice and then they roll the person out there. Come on, man. So it's something giving them the eye that say, hey, man, we need to get this. And you see the players confident, try to, boost them up because they probably see it. So we're gonna keep on pushing with that. Again, man, salute. Thank y'all so much for sharing with me and being with me, man. Thank you for everybody who's been in the chat, man. Thank you for everybody who commented, like, subscribe, Amp, my main man. That's my man. Thank you for all the people that came in and D-Block, all these guys who came in early. Thank you so much. Until next time, peace.